I just picked up a Grizzly G0765 and I thought I'd shoot a quick video comparing the differences between that to my old Harbor Freight 7x10 mini lathe. So first things first, I bought the Grizzly because as I started to use the Harbor Freight 7x10 lathe, I realized that the bed is pretty short. When you put a chuck and a drill bit in the tailstock, you run out of room quickly. Also, the tailstock, the way that it's locked down and moved, you use a wrench, it's just a little annoying. So the Grizzly has, they call it a 7x14, but the bed is actually 6 inches longer than the Harbor Freight 7x10. Incidentally, the box that the Grizzly lathe came in actually called it a 7x16 lathe on the label, but the placard on the machine is a 7x14. Either way, the bed on the Grizzly is approximately 6 inches longer than the bed on the Harbor Freight 7x10, so that's really nice. The tailstock, the way that it actuates, they actually call it the big boy tailstock. It works more like a standard, normal size lathe. Actually has a graduated collar, cam locking, all the normal features a large lathe would have. So that's definitely an advantage over the Harbor Freight. The Grizzly has a digital readout for the RPMs, comes with some more hardware, you get a steady rest, you get a faceplate with it, all nice things. But the Harbor Freight does have some nice qualities, so a few things that surprised me. First thing, a lot of the hardware on the Harbor Freight was actually nicer than the Grizzly. Now, this is confusing, but I actually swapped some of the hardware off the Harbor Freight and put it on the Grizzly. So this hardware, these handles, these originally came on the Harbor Freight, and they had a pretty good finish on them. They're nice and smooth. They look nice. They don't scream cheap. These came with the Grizzly. Finish is really rough. You can see a lot of tool marks. They don't they're not as high a quality. So swap them out. The angle gauge on the compound, on the Harbor Freight, it's made out of metal. On the Grizzly, it's plastic. Kind of like that chrome-plated plastic stuff that like toys are made out of. Kind of screams cheap. I would have swapped them out, but the whole pattern is not the same, so I'm going to have to live with that. The Harbor Freight has a nice cover over the lead screw. Grizzly does not. One advantage the Grizzly has, I forgot to mention this, the Grizzly has a nice graduated collar on the carriage traverse hand wheel. Harbor Freight doesn't have that. That's another nice feature. So the 7x14 Grizzly, even though it's a 7x lathe, it has a lot of features on it that you would normally see on a large normal sized lathe. So that's mainly why I got it. Some other things that I noticed, so if I fire up the Harbor Freight, doesn't sound too bad. Do the same thing on the Grizzly. My personal opinion, I think the Harbor Freight sounds just a little bit better, and I believe the Grizzly, it's not the spindle bearings making the noise. I think there's actually some noise coming from the DC motor. Could just be a bad motor, might be a bad bearing. The Harbor Freight, in my opinion, is just a little quieter. Neither one of them really seems to vibrate a whole lot, at least no more than the other, so pretty comparable there. So there you have it. I hope that's helpful. Bottom line, I think the really hard to beat the Harbor Freight, the bang for the buck, unfortunately, I don't see anything offered from Harbor Freight that has the features that the Grizzly has. The nice tailstock, the longer bed, the digital display. These are all nice things. Does it warrant the extra price? Well, you know, you can decide that. For me, the Grizzly G0765, to me it seems like a pretty good bang for the buck. Until you step up to the G0665 lathe, you really have a hard time beating the 7x lathes. They really do a lot for the price, for what they cost. They really have a lot of capability. So there you have it. Maybe I'll get to shoot a video here taking some test cuts soon, but until then, have fun and catch you later.